When we say good morning, it has to be full of energy. So say it again. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let's do it once again. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is better. Respected chief guest of the occasion, Dr. Raina. It's our pleasure to have you here today. Professor Raina is the Vice Chancellor of JKLU University. He has joined Jaipur very recently. Earlier, he has spent most part of his academic career in IIM Lucknow, where he was the dean and one of the most popular faculty among the students. It's been a pleasure to listen to him anytime he speaks, right? And you should feel privileged that he is able to spare some of his valuable time with us. And I'm really grateful, sir, that you have accepted our invitation. I have had occasion to listen to him once, and I have become a fan of his the manner he conducts the classes. He goes deep into your psyche and your heart. It's indeed a pleasure to listen to a scholar like Dr. Raina. To give you some more idea about Dr. Raina, he has been an institutional builder. He has been in academics, not only in India and IIM system, but almost all over the world. You name any country and he has worked over there, he has done something over there. US, UK, France, Germany, Canada. He was a Fulbright scholar and also associated with British Council. He's got lot many laurels at the international level. Research, his books are popular, very popular among the readers. And he has brought out almost like 17, 18 books, 118 papers. I mean, one can imagine to achieve that kind of, it's a benchmark for many of us. He has worked for top companies as far as consultancy and research is concerned. So quite often we keep on talking among faculty. There are 3-4 domains in which you are expected to contribute. And then sometimes we wonder how a single person can contribute with all might and 100% in all 4 domains. It's not so possible, A person like Raina can only do it. So it's really a privilege for us, sir. So your words are the words of wisdom, and his words are transforming in nature. So we'll be looking forward to hear him. So let's welcome Dr. Raina. He was asking whether Barclay has recruited students from Jaipuria. I told him that yes, Barclay has recruited students from Jaipuria, and he was very happy to hear that, because he was saying that Barclay does not go to second ladder school like Jaipuria. So I told him that this year we are hoping and crossing our fingers that you will be here in this campus to recruit our students. Would you like him to be here?
Yes.
Okay. I told him that whenever you are in Rajasthan, let us know. And then we'll arrange an interaction. It will be a pleasure to arrange his interaction with you. Whatever comes to your mind, the questions that you were asking yesterday, some of your parents were asking those questions to us when we had this parent interaction. So I think the right person to answer many of those questions would be Vishal, because he has been our alumni, he is doing well, he is here with us to share his experiences, his days in Jaipuria, outside Jaipuria, trustworthiness of Jaipuria, a lot of questions that you people ask. So I would like you to interact with him. So 3 guests on the dais. It's a wonderful day, right? I have been given 10 minutes to express my thoughts. I thought I'll reserve all my thoughts, because today is the time when we need to listen to the guests who have been able to make it on this day more and more. And Dr. Raina is constrained by the time, so he has to leave by 11. So I'll reserve all my thoughts to share with you slightly later, but I'll just to take 5 more minutes, 5-7 more minutes to talk about you some macro scenario which you need to know what is happening in the field of education and the management education in particular. The first point I would like to put for your consideration, that you need to look at 2020 to be in the shorter vision. But then you need to look at beyond 2020 as well, because we are all going to sail into those times. So it's not about today, it's about tomorrow. But how do you build tomorrow will depend on how you use today, right? So that's the point I'm going to make in front of you. talking about, India is going to have the largest tertiary age population. So demographic dividend you must have heard about. The largest graduate talent pool. And then if you're talking about the management education in India, if you look at the US is actually producing approximately 1 lakh MBA every year. India is producing 2 lakhs every year. So you should be happy. It's a good news that we are producing 2 lakhs. You think it's a good news? No, it's not a good news. No, it's a good news. India is producing more than US. China is producing 30,000 graduates. Look at these three contrasts. Producing 2 lakhs. The average fee at which you are graduating in India, I was sharing yesterday also, is 1 to 2 in India. But if you want to graduate in US, you know how much you have to pay? 50 lakhs on average, and 1.5 crore is the top fee. So can you believe this contrast? However, what is happening here is that the Indian graduates at a lower cost is attracting the world's attention, but at the same time, it's a big problem for us as well. The big problem is in terms of quality, right? So when you compare the graduates, 30,000 coming from China, the 2 lakhs, the 1 lakh coming from US, and the rest of the world, the quality of our graduate is not comparable as much as it should be with US and China, right? So quality deficit in Indian graduate or Indian market is the biggest problem, right? Now, when we talk about the quality, what is going to happen is that these numbers are going to add up in times to come in a much bigger way. How it is going to happen is that you look at the 26 million population is going to add to the education system every year in India, and the gross enrollment ratio is about 9 to 11% against 45 to 85% in developed countries. So our gross enrollment ratio in education is quite low in comparison to the rest of the world, at least the best economies of the world. So what is going to happen? This pool is going to increase and increase and increase, right? Because there are so many things coming up, and due to that, your gross enrollment ratio is rising. Of course, it has reached to 11%, but it will go up to 15%, 20%, and things like that. So it will increase and increase. And therefore, the concern about quality is one of the biggest concern in the new age economy. So what is this new age economy we are talking about? The new age economy is about new things that is happening. And a kind of situation that is going to emerge is that there will be people with the skills that corporates do not need. Imagine about this situation, that there are people who are offering themselves in the job market, but corporates do not need them because they don't want that skill which they are graduating with. They need different skills in the new age economy. Jobs are going to be available, but the right fit for the jobs are not available. You must have heard about employability gap, right? Employability gap is that you graduated but you are not graduated. You graduated but you are not employable. You want that to happen with you? No. So I mean, this is one of the biggest challenge I want to bring in front of you. So this, if you really think that this is not going to happen with you, then what do you need to do? McKinsey has come up with a big report. You should read that report, which says that there is a gap which is going to happen in most of the areas in terms of the potential and the performance. You know, this gap is going to emerge precisely because of the skill gap that you people are going to have, right? And these gaps are going to be about 70%, 80% in retail, healthcare, education, agriculture. These are all areas where almost like 70-80% gap in potential and performance will emerge according to McKinsey report. And these are all going to happen because right skills are not there with the people. The right ideas are not there with the people. People are not aligned with the new age economy. They are not learning, as much as they should learn the new things. So it's not about bookish knowledge. It's about how you groom yourself, how you align yourself with the new change, right? So commodity-centric age is gone. The knowledge-centric age is also taking backseat. It's the skill-centric age which is coming up in a big way. So you are on a crossroad here, all of you. You are on a crossroad. The crossroad is about the blending of the knowledge and skill. These two are very important. And we'll talk about that in a while. The whole induction program is about that. But I have 2 points to give to you at this moment. One is, my take is, number 1, bridge the gap between potential and performance. What is blocking us from bridging the gap between potential and performance? One is laid-back attitude. I'm talking about very basics of life, right? And these are, looks small, but it's a tall order. It's a very, very tall order. But they look very small. So I'm talking about laid-back attitude. So part of the problem with us that we are not able to catch up is because we have laid-back attitude. We have easygoing, attitude, right? We have lack of ambition. So why we are not able to catch up is that most of us do not actually have ambition. There is a sheer lack of ambition. Lack of urge to perform beyond the call of duties, right? Chalta hai type of underperformance. So you get a degree, that's fine. You said you have graduated, but you have still not graduated, right? Precisely because the gap between the performance of you have your performance, your potential is very huge, but your performance is very, very low. You are underperforming. And you are underperforming because of certain things which I have enumerated. There may be some more which you can come up with. So leave this underperformance thing immediately. How can you do that? You have to motivate yourself. But don't wait for somebody to come and motivate you. You have to learn yourself. Don't wait for somebody and tell you that what to learn, what not to learn, right? You should learn not because you have to learn. You should learn because you want to learn, right? Do you understand the difference between the two approaches? You're here to learn not because you have to learn. The college is saying this is to be learned, this is to be learned, this is to be learned, and that's why you're learning. Not because of that. You're not learning because you have to learn. You should learn because you want to learn. And moreover, you should go to the third stage where you learn because you love to learn. Do you see the difference? Just change the attitude. You're learning not because you have to learn. You're learning because you want to learn and you love to learn. And see what kind of magic is going to happen to your life. Something magical will start happening to your life, right? The moment you change your attitude from first to second to third, right? So that's what I want to say. The second point I would like to reiterate in front of you is, take the ownership, which is related to the first point. Take the ownership of your learning and activities. Who owns the learning? Who owns the responsibility of developing yourself? Who owns that responsibility? What is assignment? Sri Ravi Shankar was asked, he was here in Jaipur. So one student asked him, sir, can you define what is assignment? He said assignment is not something that somebody come and gives to you. Assignment is that what you decide for yourself. The moment you think that the assignment is something that somebody will come and tell you that this is to be done, you are on first stage. You are learning because you have to learn. The moment you decide, you decide for yourself, okay, these are the things I have to learn, and you go beyond the expectation of your teachers, right? Then you are on the second stage. You are learning because you want to learn. And then nobody actually tells you what to learn, and then you learn everything yourself and develop yourself in whatever possible way, whatever constraint that you have. Then you are on the third stage. You are learning because you love to learn. Industries are looking for people who love to develop themselves, right? Industry are also very, 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 dry. They're looking for good people and they're not getting. I told you that this gap is going to be more, and therefore you take the responsibility, of learning yourself. And therefore, one of the principles of doing this is, which Kabir has said, "Kaal करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब सबको पता है, पल में परिलय होएगा, बहुरी करेगा." So the first principle is now and here. So when is the life starts? Now and here, right? When you're talking about future, when do you think about that future? Everybody thinks about future, but when do you think about that future? Now. This is the time when you are thinking about your future. you're thinking about past and you keep on grieving, this happened with me, that happened with me, I'm so hard pressed, what to do, I think. When do you do that? In the past or in the present? So you do it in present. So look at the link between past, present and future. You're thinking about past in the present, you're thinking about future in the present, so which is more important? Present, right? So when you focus on present, your future is already there, built, isn't it? Now and here, that's the first principle. There is a rule of universe which says that we attract what we are. We don't attract what we want, right? You understand the import of these two sentences? You get what you are. You actually ultimately get everything from your family, your friend, your employer, your everybody. Everybody gives you what you are, right? It's not that what you want. Everybody wants to go to New York, but you have to have visa, you have to sit in the plane, and then only you can reach over there, right? Everything will come to you if you become good, right? That's the law of universe. So remember, you want good in your life, everybody wants good in your life, be good, be deserving, things will follow. So what is the focus? Should we focus on, I should get this, I should get that, or we should focus on building ourselves, enabled to get that, right? The universe will provide you. God has not promised the sky is always blue. Has He promised you that the sky will always be blue for you? So listen to this. God has not promised the sky is always blue, flowers strewn pathways, all life through. He has not promised this, right? God has not promised sun without rain. Has He? Joy without sorrow. Has He? Peace without pain. But God has promised strength for the decay. Right? The strength is for those who is going to labor, who is going to take the pain. And then the God is promising to give you the strength. The God is not promising you to give you the strength, you don't do anything, right? This is not the promise God has given to you. But God has promised strength for the decay, rest for the labor. So when do you deserve the rest? When you do the labor. I mean, if you think that you sleep every whole day, and if your class is at 10, you get up at 10:30, and you say, oh, thoda sa headache ho gaya tha, sir mein sir, main aaj nahi aa paya time par. Oh, this is not the promise which is given to you. Now, neither your faculty has given you this promise, nor God has given you this promise, nor your parents have given you this promise, right? But then, rest is promised to you when you do the labor. So, but God has promised strength for the decay, rest for the labor, and light for the way. If your ways are dark, the God has promised, you work, will give you the light, right? इसलिए जो मन की शक्ति देना जो सॉन्ग आपने अभी सुना, फैकल्टी ने आपके लिए प्रेजेंट किया, क्या ये बताता है? ये बताता है कि हम आपके लिए खड़े हैं, राइट? और हम सबको भगवान की तरफ से इतना शक्ति मिले कि हम आपके लिए खड़े रहें, लेकिन करना आपको है, राइट? सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करना बहुत जरूरी है, इसलिए ये बहुत जरूरी है। कबीरदास जी ने कहा था, जैसे